to Season 3, Episode 14 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing the new Broadway musical, Here Lies Love, with concept, music, and lyrics by David Byrne, music by Fatboy Slim, and additional music by Tom Gandy and Jose Luis Pardo. Directed by Alex Timbers and choreographed by Annie B. Parson, it is running at the Broadway Theater at 1681 Broadway in New York. This is turning out to be an interesting summer for Broadway, with shows that I would have thought would have opened closer to higher market seasons, like near the holidays or pre-award seasons in April. But with shows like Once Upon a One More Time already open, and shows like The Shark is Broken and Back to the Future, there are some, for me anyway, big shows about to open. Here Lies Love is another show I thought would open during one of those times as well, especially after the massive success of David Byrne's last Broadway show, American Utopia. Still, there are plenty of reasons to be, for lack of a better word, doubtful about the possible success of Here Lies Love. For one, it took 9 years for it to transfer from off-Broadway at the Public Theater to a Broadway-sized house. Then there's David Korins' scenic design that minimizes the amount of space for the audience as the Broadway Theater, which is one of the largest houses on Broadway, causing it to lose significant seating to accommodate this design. The tickets I got were on the orchestra floor, where the audience stands throughout the show. Taking in the environment, you can see how much narrower the vast Broadway Theater has been made for this show, with minimal seating on the floor at the back of the house. The balcony is mostly still available, and there are small strips of box seats running along the sides of the house. If you're on the floor and you look straight up, the proscenium is still visible, and the floor area for the audience actually extends up beyond where the stage usually starts. About half of the floor area is technically upstage of the proscenium. There's a traditional stage further upstage with a screen for projections that's used throughout the show. The platform that sits in the middle of the audience rotates periodically to accommodate entrances and exits as characters come into the center of the audience to perform. This concept gives the theater a feeling of a dance club, not too dissimilar from Studio 54 in the 1960s and 70s, and fits well into the other aspect of Here Lies Love, and that's its subject matter, the rise and fall of Imelda Marcos and her husband, Filipino dictator Ferdinand Marcos. As the Marcoses had a tendency to live in rather lavish lifestyles, going to various dance clubs like Studio 54 and living in excess. The idea to set a dance musical to the story of two genuinely horrible people does feel thematically incorrect, especially for someone who knows their history. It's hard to dance, even with the assistance of the marvelous DJ Moses Villarama, when you know that the central couple is responsible for the deaths of thousands, if not more. I would suppose that if an audience who doesn't know the Marcoses and the atrocities they committed would get easily seduced by the beginning of the show. Imelda, played by Ariel Jacobs, starts as a poor village girl who finds success as a beauty pageant winner, eventually moving from San Miguel to the capital city of Manila, where she meets Ferdinand, played by Jose Yulana. They both fall in love, wed, and begin a whirlwind rise to power. She grows an addiction to pills and spends exorbitant amounts of money traveling the world while her people starve. Meanwhile, her ex-lover from her childhood, Ninoy Aquino, played by Conrad Ricamora, who left her because she was too tall, has come to power with the Liberal Party in opposition of the Marcoses. Another controversy is the music itself. The Musicians Union has contract rules with the minimum number of musicians in a musical at a Broadway house. For the Broadway Theater, there's a requirement of 19 musicians. Here Lies Love has a DJ and pre-recorded music. What happened was a compromise where a guitarist, a bass player, and several percussionists were contracted into the show. Regardless, the music is energetic and exciting, especially if you're on the dance floor where you are encouraged to dance by crew members with light wands directing people to move when the stage rotates. With that in mind, be considerate to the actors. They will occasionally enter and exit through the audience. The cast is great, and being that it is entirely consisted of people of Filipino descent, there is a apparent passion for the material, especially once Ninoy shows up to challenge Ferdinand and Imelda's regime. The tonal shift is massive and a bit disorienting, but in a good way. Lana and Jacobs are both fantastic. Jacobs has some amazing pipes on her, and her descent into a tyrannical arrogance is compelling to watch. Ricamora was out the night I was in attendance, but his understudy, played by Aaron Alcaraz, was terrific as Ninoy Aquino, playing the role with a fiery passion. The two real standout performances, though, were Melody Butiu as Estrella Compass, a friend of Imelda's who Imelda abandons as she gets sucked into the temptation of fame and wealth. Her song, When She Passed By, lamenting the loss of her friend to greed and power, is beautiful and tragic. The other is Leah Salonga, who plays Ninoy's mother, Aurora. You forget that she's even in the show, as she doesn't show up until about the last 20 minutes. But when she does, the world stops for her as she gets her number. I won't reveal the details as to why she arrives when she does, but when she comes on stage to sing Just Ask the Flowers, the show's message is direct and powerful. There are some seriously impactful moments, but Here Lies Love does have some serious tonal issues that have rubbed some audience members the wrong way, and I understand that entirely and respect that feeling. I get it. Like I said, especially if you know who the Marcoses are, it's hard to feel encouraged to dance with them. The story moves fast from 1953 to 1986 in about 90 minutes. It doesn't give much time to work through moments of serious conflict. There's no time to really develop Imelda's character early on to see where she may falter in the future and become the monster she ends up being. Still, Here Lies Love is a singular Broadway experience. If you have the endurance for it, I highly encourage to see the show standing on the floor. It's immensely immersive. Not to the level of, say, Sleep No More, but still a wild experience. The first half of the show may not sit well with audience members, but if you wait for the payoff, you might find it worth the investment. But I'm only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Here Lies Love, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon for your support. I appreciate it. If you'd like to become a patron, I'll leave a link in the description there as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Goodspeed Musicals' production of Summer Stock. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.